Del Boy, Genesis Paranormal experience in another extremely paranormal environment, which is a child's bedroom. Two child's bedroom, two cots, two children. The lady that called us in, her son that slept in this cot, never slept, to the point where it was disrupting the parent's life, the child's life. The evidence revolves around this cupboard and this toy and that wheel and this chair. Oh, sorry, well I just tidy up. In this room, JC, the softer part of Genesis Paranormal Experience, would have been stood here taking a photograph into this cupboard. There's a major, what's in this cupboard were emotional for me, but I'm just a more an emotional person. I like to cry a lot. There's a young gentleman, 5-year-old, lives in this cot. When JC took one photograph of this cot, of this cupboard, she caught a picture of the lady of the house. No, because the lady of the house was stood there and I was stood where the camera is with two full spectrum infrared video cameras pointing them ways. What JC got on a camera wasn't actually there, to the point where I had to come back and pester to come back to take photographs to prove, which will come apparent when you look through all this photographic evidence that I'm going to produce. The only movies that you're going to see on this is me, Del Boy, movie star. Well, that's what I want to be, probably when I'm a ghost. So watch and see what you think. Build up a picture in your own mind as to how three people, one stood there, one stood there, one stood there, taking a photograph, completely missed the target photograph. So without further ado, because I can talk forever, my missus says, we'll leave it at that. Watch and see. So, what you're looking at now is what I would term as even though it's not a target because we couldn't see this, but this is the photograph that we were shown, that were taken by JC, only we never actually saw this. But on her camera phone, she picked this up. This photograph looks very, very like the lady of the house, Gemma, with a few little bits that maybe not as they should be. But the first question I was asked, or the first thing I was asked to look at on this photograph on the top right hand corner at the back of the head of what you're looking at, was allegedly a face. Me as a photographer, a paranormal photographer, I never look at what anybody shows me. I look at the environment, because if I can't recreate that environment, then that never happens. This second piece of evidence, the alarming bit about this is because Gemma were actually the lady of the house that was actually stood 4 foot or 4 feet away from where this entity appeared. The alarming thing is that the length of its neck, or her neck, or whoever's neck, because Gemma's neck is not that long, and if it was that long and she had her head tilted to the left, she would actually be putting her head through a wooden door. Next photograph, photograph B. If you look at this photograph, if you might have noticed, there is actually no distortion at all. This was taken at dinner time, bright day, fully automatic camera phone. So everything is as it should be. Fast shutter speed, sharp, except for allegedly Gemma or the entity, because it or she is moving at an alarming rate from left to right. But if you look at her right arm's not moving, or its right arm is not moving. That was another thing that caught my eye and left me puzzled. Next piece of evidence, item C. Now, this was a struggle for me, but I noticed something that was just impossible with the amount of space that there is that allegedly Gemma or that entity is actually stood in. Is you can see, if you have a really good close look, a pattern, a little bit of pattern, and I believe it's red and white dots, polka dot, because I'm colourblind, so I just have, you could tell me it's anything and I wouldn't know no different. But that is a really important part to this picture, because it's actually under Gemma's arm, or the entity's arm, while she's moving left to right at an alarming rate, but her arm's not moving, and she's got a long neck and she's trying to put it through a wooden door. This piece of evidence, this is where it gets weird in here, but that doesn't take much. But this is, you can see a blue rim, but this blue rim is on a big plastic wheel on a very large child's toy, which you will see in photographs to follow. Now, so what you've got is an entity with a long neck shoving its head to its left through a wooden door that's open, while crouching, holding something in her right arm that's got red and white polka dots, and a very large toy with a blue rim wheel on. Now that sounds like a bit of a mouthful, but what's going to follow, it'll all come to light. Picture E. This is pointing at Gemma's shoulder, or the entity's shoulder, or whoever's shoulder. That just shows that this cupboard door that's open, where we discovered that Tom lives, is level. That has significance with photos to follow. So just that would actually leave this entity squatting, holding two items in the right arm while moving at an alarming rate from left to right, whilst extending her neck and putting her head through a wooden door. So things are just getting confusing for me now. Now this is the environment. The only thing that's missing, I've recreated the environment, the only thing that's missing out of this is whatever you want to call it, entity, Gemma, or what, but you can see the door, you can see how low the open door frame is, you can see the blue rim wheel on the extremely large toy, and the big fully inflated child's red and white polka dot seat. That is the environment that I needed to go back to recreate, but I was never going to get Gemma, the lady in the household, there, because she wouldn't fit there and she's only a little lady, and I would never get that entity there because she's never going to do that. But I recreated the environment in that shot. That is one of the main things of proving paranormal. If you can recreate the environment, you've a good standing. What I've done here is I've narrowed things up to try and make it like the environment of the target picture, the original picture. The only thing missing from this, which I'm going to make a statement now, and if I'm wrong you can lock me up for life, that under no circumstances can Gemma, who is in the picture now, can she hold that extremely large plastic toy with the blue rimmed wheel and a fully inflated polka dot, red and white polka dot child's chair under her right arm while she's moving from left to right at a rate of knots. You can see this for yourself. This is where this should make things easier and bring things to light. Unfortunately, we still get argumentative paranormal experts. You've got Gemma that is playing the part of an entity. There is that much room in that space. You've seen how big the big plastic toy is with the blue rim wheel and the polka dot, red and white polka dot, fully inflated child's chair. That is the position that entity, or if it was Gemma would have had to be in. Now I couldn't have done that, not even with my right arm, and they're not big muscles, but come on, give me a break. But that is the amount of work, the amount of space that something was working with. So now what we're back at the target picture. This is the entity that showed up in the middle of the afternoon with 3 people in the same room, 2 full spectrum infrared camcorders, and the lady that actually took the picture. The picture took place. What you're looking at never appeared. Else we would have noticed somebody trying to squeeze a big plastic toy and a child's fully inflated polka dot chair under their arm in that much space. So I'm going to leave you with that evidence and see what you can figure out of that. But believe me, there were 3 people in that room, not 4, because that one that you're looking at now makes 4, and we never saw it. So either us 3 were blind or that were never there. So the evidence that I've presented before you, you're the jury. I don't know who I am, but look at it, go through it. This was an interesting one to put together, and it took 3 trips back to that house to reconstruct the original photograph. So without further ado, I'm just going to leave you to make sense of that yourself. But please don't forget, this one, there must be somebody that might have some questions or that might want to comment on what you've seen. If so, leave one. Please subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube, but this YouTube link, it is linked to as my website, which is genesisparanormalexperience.wordpress.com. Please visit the website. There is a lot more stuff on there, and see what you think. So without further ado, I'll leave you with that one. So until next time, see you soon.